It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
What's up, y'all? Welcome into Cats Talk Wednesday. Vinny Hardy here, courtesy of the BS3 Network. Flying solo, but hopefully not for long. Like I always say, I want y'all to have to hear me droning on by myself. TB should be here soon. If you follow him on social media, you know that Mama B has made her way to Iowa from Louisville, paying him a visit. So TB is hoping to hop in here. We know it's also a game day Wednesday. Sometimes those happen throughout the year. The Cats are going to be playing Tennessee Tech very shortly. We're going to get a little episode in before the long weekend kicks off. We hope to have a guest as well. That is Fredrick Douglass, boys basketball coach Murray Garvin. Hopefully Coach Garvin can hop on and chop it up with us for a few minutes. We're going to try to get a whole lot done in a little bit of time. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll pivot. And appreciate y'all for, understanding and pivoting with us and bobbing and weaving, if you will. Kentucky Tech, Tennessee Tech in a few minutes. John Pelfrey brings his squad up from Cookeville, Tennessee to Lexington. Saw the story Mark, pun intended, you saw the story Mark Story did for the Hurl Leader. And it's been kind of well documented, but everything that Coach Pelfrey's wife Tracy is going through with cancer, and she paused her treatment to be able to go to RUP. Listen to Coach Pope's call-in show when Coach Pope initially reached out to Coach Pelfrey about getting this game in and having him bring his team to RUP. He initially declined the invitation, and then he said his associate head coach, his wife, said, "No, you need to do it. You need to accept the offer. Let's do this." So he had to kind of come crawling back to Coach Pope with his words to say, "Okay, yeah, we can do it." So we are now at that time for an unforgettable John Pelfrey to be back in RUP. He had other stops in Arkansas and other coaching stints as well. His team is 3-3. Should be, if all goes according to plan, a game where we really don't learn a whole lot about Kentucky or see anything earth-shattering. That'll happen when we, go up against North Carolina next week to be the next big-time opponent, big game atmosphere, top-notch type competition like what we saw against Louisville and Michigan State. That'll happen with North Carolina. Of course, we know we still got Gonzaga and St. John's and Indiana waiting in the wings before conference play as well. So we know, just want to see a lot more progress from, in comparison to what we saw in the first two big games against marquee opponents. Cats got a lot of work to do, and hopefully they're able to dot I's and cross T's and kind of get on a level where they want to be and where we as a fan base want them to be. Doing a little producing on the air. Coach Garvin just messaged, seeing about when he wanted to come on. Initially, it was scheduled for 7:30, but if he wants to jump on now, that would be cool as well. Let's see. So, yeah, bear with me. Just a little on-air producing, messaging, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we know the Cats got a long way to go. And if you scoreboard watch, sometimes we just focus on Kentucky and don't look at the peripheral, what other teams are doing. But if you watch other teams or not, we know what we saw from Kentucky against Louisville and Michigan State. That ain't going to cut it. But if you got a glance. Hate to give credit, hate to say anything about them, but if you caught a glance at Tennessee and Houston yesterday, um, hey, we gotta we gotta step up our toughness. We gotta be ready to compete. We gotta have our grown men ready for their grown men, the whole 9 yards. If you saw the game after that, Auburn absolutely got destroyed by Michigan. Uh, you know, Kentucky knows where they got to get if they want to contend. Be a big boy type of big boys. A lot of season left, but Coach Pope said himself in the college show, we don't do patient. We want to win now, trying to go out and win now. So they got to fix all those things that need fixing in order to win now. What we saw in the big games continues to happen. Ain't gonna be a lot of winning now. So the first test of note would be North Carolina. Like we said it before, Terry and last couple of years of Cal just got down to, hey, season doesn't matter. We're gonna get out the first weekend. We're gonna get to the second weekend. We're gonna get to the 16. How far we're gonna advance in the tournament. Right now, it's just what's gonna happen in these big games for Kentucky. That's basically what they're told first. The women are playing right now as well down in Puerto Rico, and they got some work to do themselves against Maryland. It's not on TV. It's on this Flow Sports Flow. But they've been kind of trailing throughout. Last week they were down 55-43 after a Claire's track 3. But Maryland has had the lead, kind of a sizable lead throughout. 17-point lead at one time. It's 52-35. Got out of the gates early. If you follow Kentucky Women's Twitter account, it's 14-8 Maryland, 16-10. Kind of out of the gates quickly, 21-12, 23-18, 32-26. At the half, Kentucky trailed 39-28, so down 11. And then Maryland has got it up to, it looks high 17, 52-35. Now the Cats are on a little bit of a run. It is 55-43. So that is an 8-3 run. Cut it from 17 down to 12. And let's see. Looks like you're in the fourth quarter now, possibly. So gotta kind of rally and make your run, get yourself in the game, and make another run to try to win it. That's getting kind of that time now for Kenny Brooks and the Kentucky women down in Puerto Rico against Maryland. Now, the other big game, they did go to Louisville and take care of business. 72-62. Wasn't really that close. Final score said the Cats won by 10, but they went to the Yum and popped Jeff Walls by a bigger margin than that for the most part. We'll kind of try to make it respectable. But they got some work to do right now against Maryland when they can rally and beat the Terps. But homeboy is backstage. Look, I just have to deal with it when they win on Monday night. Expect to see that red or garnet or whatever it is that they wear out there. And that's what he is donned in. 49er colors. Terry T.B. Brown is here. How you doing? Mama B is in the house. You better be acting right. Let's get that out there.
Yeah, but I'm wearing the jersey of your NFC Defensive Player of the Week, the ball hawk, Jair Brown, who had 2 interceptions on Monday night. So, uh, yeah, still living that high. Purdy was not his sharpest, but we'll definitely take a win whenever we can get a win.
Yeah. Would you even tweet during the game? You was just kind of laid low, chilling, I guess, this time against the Panthers, right?
Yeah, well, I wasn't too worried about the Panthers, and the only reason the 49ers won is because the Panthers' offense is terrible. So I don't know what they're going to do with Bryce Young, but they had one drive and that was about it. They looked as terrible uh, as I've seen on most of the day. So
And
uh,
y'all wasn't punching their guys in the groin either. So there's that.
yeah, at first I was like, "What is going on with Jennings?" Because he's got that Tennessee Volunteer in him. So I'm always like, "What's that boy doing?" And then they showed the clip. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'd be mad too." You
Yeah.
do something like that, then you have to then you got to see me. So
Hmm.
absolutely, positively uh, excited about that. Like I said, 8-4. The NFC West is tough.
It
Still got
is.
to play the Seahawks again. We've got Cleveland this weekend coming up this Sunday, and haven't won in Cleveland since like the '80s. Like it's ridiculous. I know we don't play there often, but it's not great. Uh, their defensive coordinator uh, usually holds Shanahan down a little bit, so not a give me game. But Purdy's got to step up. People just being prisoners of the moment, and yeah, he had a bad game. Had a bad game a couple years ago against the Ravens on Christmas Day. 4 interceptions. A lot of those were tipped, but whatever. Like Purdy is that person. Whatever you want to see, you're gonna see, and I get it.
Hmm.
And people want to talk slick and all this kind of stuff. But my whole thing is, and people are like, oh, you're going back to 2023 with Purdy. Yeah, because everybody was banged up last year. They've been banged up this year. He's been banged up. But when he was fully healthy, he was balling. For some reason, the NFL talking heads act as if Detroit won that championship game. When you hear people talk about the Detroit way and this is what the Lions are doing, they did not win that ball game. Now, were they up 17 points? Yes, they were.
Hmm.
Did they win the game? No, they didn't.
Yeah.
And they want to talk about everybody around Purdy. You know who our leading rusher in the game was? Brock Purdy. Do you know who was catching third down conversions? It wasn't my man Kittle. It wasn't Ayuk. It wasn't Debo. It wasn't any of those people. It was Jusick, the tight end.
Mm.
So this would be like Troy Aikman on third long going to Moose Johnston, right?
Mm.
Like of all
Hmm.
the weapons. So I get it. Everybody want to talk slick. What kills me, and I was ready to rant about this, for a lot of Packers fans. A lot of Packers fans got jokey jokes. So I went back. You may not remember this. Well, the Packers beat the Cowboys that year in the playoffs, right? And then the next game they went to San Francisco, and Jordan Love threw 2 interceptions to lose that game. The last one was off his back foot. It was wild. So I get it. Purdy wasn't sharp, but I have seen him play well enough to lead a team to a Super Bowl. And again, to put a bow on this, when he walked off the field in overtime of Super Bowl, whatever that was, 55, I've lost track of the. Whenever he walked off, his team had the lead, right? He did what he had to do to win that game. And obviously, if it goes a different way, we'll have a different discussion. But all these guys, they think Jordan Love can get them to the Super Bowl. Just
Mm.
like Cowboy fans think Dak Prescott can get them to the Super Bowl. Charger fans think Justin Herbert can get them to the Super Bowl, right? Lions fans think Jared Goff can get them to the Super Bowl. I've got proof of concept that a Brock Purdy led team can do it. And you can
Yep.
talk about the weapons around him and all that kind of stuff. That's all well and good. But come on. And then some media folks in the Bay Area, his interceptions through 40 starts or whatever, the same as Tom Brady. Not saying he's that good, but
Mm.
sometimes this happens. Uh, so again, do I want to see 3 interceptions? No, but he's still my dude. Somebody has side by side. Last week, Colin Cowherd. Oh, I'm on the Brock Purdy train. This week, oh, he's terrible. He's Tua of the NFC. So, you know, whatever. But
Unbelievable.
of all these quarterbacks, again, one NFC Championship game, one Super Bowl, which is better than the dude in Dallas, which is better than Jaden Daniels, whoever else you want to put in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then my favorite is the Seahawks fans. Y'all got Sam Darnold, and we remember that game last year in the playoffs. When Brock Purdy has a 3-interception game in the playoffs, talk to me.
Yes. Yeah. Because, I mean, Darnold went Darnold at the worst possible
Right,
time.
right. Yeah, let me see that, right? So
Mhm.
and again, I'm not saying he's up there, whatever, but he's not poo poo either, and he just needs to go back with what makes him great is just getting the ball right place, right time.
And he got that second contract. He got paid. So they hitching their wagon to him, right? He's the
Yeah,
he's the
and
franchise guy. So
yeah, and the numbers say he's been the most effective and efficient quarterback since he became a starter. I mean, that's the thing. This is not just he's my guy, I'm rolling with him. The numbers are the numbers.
yo,
He just had a bad game. But I'm not having Packers fans who rooted for Brett Favre, who I witnessed with my own eyes threw 6 interceptions in a playoff game against the Rams, right?
yeah.
Like you knew that they might beat the Lions in the playoffs, but you knew in the Silver Dome he's putting one up there, right? He's putting 2 or 3 up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Yeah.
I'm 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 not I'm not with that kind of thing. I heard you talk about the women's basketball team before I got on the Kentucky women. I know they're down right now,
Mm-hmm.
but friend of the show, Claire Strack, been balling. SEC
Yes.
Player of the Week.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, our
And
household, we got a lot of stuff going on. Vinny got Claire Strack, SEC Player of the Week. Ava Hayden for Iowa women was Big Ten Women's Player of the Week, and my young son Jair Brown, NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
man, yeah.
Lot of good stuff going on. I told my wife I was going to get all those onto the show
Yep.
here today.
Hey, you did it. You did well. Real smooth. And our women, and look, first of all, our women's team has already won a big game going to Louisville. They've already, played well in a harsh environment. And they're making a run now, which is if you want to get back in the games, what you got to do. They just tweeted out they're down 65-57. Still 4 minutes left against Maryland. It was 52-35 a minute ago. They were down 17, so they, shaved the lead. What took 9 points off? 4 minutes left. You down 8. You in there.
Yeah.
You're
You
there.
can
So
you can still do it. So, but with the holiday coming up, I know the men's team is playing Tennessee Tech right now. Former
right
Cat
now, yeah,
John Pelfrey back in the
mhm,
building. Uh,
exactly.
one of the John Pelfrey, one of the last players to be honored up in the rafters.
Yeah, unbelievable,
Don't let me
unbelievable.
don't let me get on that soapbox, but yeah, Mama B is here now. She's upstairs relaxing. Been running errands and things, and gonna put her in that kitchen tomorrow, buddy.
Oh, easy. Well, I'm glad y'all had a safe trip. Glad you had a safe trip down to the Ville to get her and
Yeah,
made it back home safe. And now she's up there having a good visit with y'all. We got our guest backstage. First time on the show. Our friend on Twitter, Matt Fels McDowell, tagged us in some tweets. It was the conversation was NIL and Pope and Be Patient and Cal. A lot of Kentucky basketball conversation. And Matt tagged our Cats Talk Wednesday account and said, y'all need to have this gentleman on the show. And this gentleman is Murray Garvin. He is the head basketball coach at Fredrick Douglass High School, former college coach at South Carolina State, got Eastern Kentucky ties. We got a lot to talk about. So we'll just bring Coach Garvin in right now. And appreciate you hopping on, Coach Garvin. Welcome to the show.
Hey, man. The pleasure is mine. I appreciate the invitation. It's crazy how things come together, but anytime you can talk about basketball, you can talk about Kentucky basketball, either on the collegiate or high school level, I'm all for it.
We appreciate it because, like, I mean, I had no idea who we are. Matt's like tagging us in a tweet, and here I am sending you a message, and you were kind enough to do it. So we appreciate it.
No problem, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. I looked into what you all do and what you talk about. It's a first-class podcast, and I'm delighted to be a part of it, man.
We appreciate it.
We certainly do.
So you got Eastern Kentucky ties, right? From Pikeville, or born in Pikeville, right?
Yeah, born and raised in the big city of Pikeville, Kentucky, way back in the 1900s. Way back in the 1900s, came out of Pikeville, went to Eastern Kentucky University. After that, started my coaching career. Started at Tates Creek High School as an assistant to Nolan Barger his last year before he retired. Then I did 2 more seasons with Joe Pat Covington. And then after that, moved to the Carolinas, got into coaching junior college basketball, climbed my way all the way up to being a Division I head coach for 10 seasons at South Carolina State University. After that run, relocated back here to Lexington, became the head coach at Paul Lawrence Dunbar for 2 years. Left Dunbar after 2 years, wasn't sure if high school coaching was my cup of tea. It was just a different approach than I was accustomed to after coaching college ball for 20 years, and did some streaming with Glycod Sports, and man, realized that I missed it. And then the opportunity came to go to Fredrick Douglass, and last year was my first season there, and looking forward to a second season with big aspirations for the year.
That's all right, man. That's all right. So, first of all, I grew up right across the hill from you. I'm from Harlan County. Went to Cumberland High School, and which is Harlan County High School now. But I'm so old, they hadn't even consolidated yet. You know.
Hey, but I played against you when Charles Tinsley was at Cumberland School, and Champ and
George
Massey, all them brothers was at Cumberland, so I know where you're at, man. My senior year, we played in a playoff game over there, and I'm telling you, the mud on the field was about that thick. And I think we won something like 21-7, and I think Tinsley was a junior then.
You just bringing up all these nightmares, Coach. See, y'all, we as good as Cumberland was, could never get past Pikeville, and then usually. I don't know. You know the history better than me. Pikeville would usually Beechwood would knock Pikeville out. I'm like, well, Beechwood must really be something there.
Right. Yeah, that was old rivalries right there.
Yeah, Eddie DeRamus, may he rest in peace. Yeah, Pikeville, y'all had some teams over there, man. Sure.
Yeah, I came through the era when we won 3 in a row. I was sophomore. We went back to back, and then my junior year we lost 3 games, and they thought the world was going to end. And then my senior year we went 15-1 and lost in the championship game to Beechwood that year that we came through Cumberland.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of football tradition up there and a lot of fun rivalries. What I liked about growing up in Eastern Kentucky is there wasn't nothing else to do but high school sports. So when you played certain teams, man, that was the place to be, was Friday Night Lights. And, you know, you became a legend if you could play ball.
That's it. Cumberland's field was right below my granny's house. So everybody would just, you know, either go or lean on the fence and, you know, get your hot chocolate or whatever you're sipping on right there. But yeah, you know, the lights are right there, and every little town was like that. You know, whoever was the home team, the town was there. Football, basketball, you all know the story too. If you go into the state tournament, you know, shut the lights out. Last one to leave the county, shut the lights out. I don't know, you know.
Turn the lights off. Yeah. and look, and for us being African American in Eastern Kentucky, you knew who all the other brothers was at the other schools. You know, that's why I can name Tinsley and Champ. And I know Charles Thomas. And over in Jenkins, Johnny Ray Williams. You know, there were so few of us that it was like an understanding, or when you see each other, it's like, hey man, what's up, man? Good job. You know, keep it moving.
You know, saying it without saying it. Didn't
Right.
no words required. Yeah.
No worries. No, you understood.
For sure. So at South Carolina State too, you hit your journey, but me at Coach of the Year while you were there too.
Yeah.
Well.
It was now I don't give any excuses, man. I've learned a lot in my coaching journey. South Carolina State was a very hard job, and it still is. I mean, anytime that you see a school that struggles to win, no matter who the coach is, it's normally not the coach's fault. You know, there's a big misconception that all Division I schools are funded the same, and it's just not true. You know, the year that I won Coach of the Year, we had the right amount of scholarships. The next summer, I was reduced to about 8 scholarships when the norm was 12 or 13. I can't remember exactly, which made it made it hard to compete on the Division I level. But again, I don't make any excuses about it. For me, looking back on it now, it was a great time. I was able to take care of my family. I was able to travel the world. I was able to do television spots and all the benefits that came with being a Division I head coach during that time. It was just hard to win, man. So that 2016 season, we had built our program. It took us 3 years to get to that level where we could compete for a championship. Lost in the championship game of the MEAC tournament to Hampton University. And a good friend of mine named Buck Joyner was the head coach there. I think he's now an assistant at Bucknell. But lost to them, man. And I often say, if we would have went to the NCAA tournament, it could change your life, you know. But I would also like to emphasize that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. This is where God wanted me to be. I accept that I'm supposed to be talking to you guys tonight. So everything happens for a reason. And it was a beautiful journey, man. Great memories at South Carolina State and some of the other stops I had as an assistant coach, and built lifelong relationships with communities, fan bases, and most importantly, my former players.
That is amazing. And we're going to bring it up to the current as well for sure. But when you were over there, what was the layout recruiting wise for the state of South Carolina? Were there more better basketball in Columbia, better basketball in Spartanburg, Clemson? And did you recruit in-state first, or how was your recruiting strategy as the coach there at South Carolina State?
Well, we had our PhD when I was at South Carolina State. We were poor, hungry, and desperate. so I couldn't go far, baby. I couldn't go far. We tried to put a fence around the state of South Carolina. And at the time, South Carolina high school basketball kind of went through a renaissance. You know, if you do your research, we were the first program to offer Ja Morant, you know, and Zion Williamson did a resurgence, and so did Ja Morant. Now, Ja Morant to the state of South Carolina was like LeBron James that nobody knew about. So every university came in the state of South Carolina and recruited it heavy just because they thought there would be more Ja Morants in the back gym of an AAU event, you know, and so it made it hard for us to keep the really talented kids. But South Carolina, man, they have good basketball from Spartanburg to Columbia, all the way down to close to Savannah, Georgia, and of course, Charleston, South Carolina. And then you can go up by Myrtle Beach and all those little small towns, man. South Carolina is a beautiful place. They really emphasize their high school sports there, both football and basketball. You could go to a football game on Friday nights and you could see a kid that might have 100 yards, and you look up 3 years later and they're in the NFL. You know, because it's speed on speed down there. And the kid may not be an all-star in the high school ranks, but when they get to college, they're used to playing such a fast game that they end up excelling. And again, if you look up your research, per capita, South Carolina might have more NFL veterans than any other state. And I know a small town I used to live in called Rock Hill, right outside of Charlotte, produces a ton of NFL talent. And basketball wise, it's just now getting the credit that it deserves. Colin Murray Burrows, I remember I recruited his brother at South Carolina State. His brother plays overseas. Collins Murray Bull, I believe, was a top 10 draft pick this past year. You know, John Morant, Zion Williamson. The list goes on. There's a lot of kids that I can't remember. Those are just the headlines. But a lot of talent in South Carolina.
I guess I'll tell a quick story and you'll agree, and it won't be like I'm telling you something that you don't already know. I guess 2001 maybe. My wife and I, we weren't married yet, but her family and my family went to Myrtle Beach, and it was in December. Went to the Beach Ball Classic, the tournament there that's been there for years. Some of the people there found out we were from Kentucky, people that attend every year. And so they were asking my dad and myself, y'all had a team from Eastern Kentucky, they couldn't dunk, but could shoot and pass the lights out. Come to find out it was Rich Farmer in Clay County had come down there to the Beach Ball Classic. And these people were still remembering, the show they put on from years prior. So that particular game is DeMatha. Everybody knows DeMatha. They come out, 6'2" point guard, 6'5" shooting guard. They're like an NBA team, 6'7" small forward, 6'9" power forward, 6'11" center. They're rolling right out. They're playing Latta, South Carolina.
Raymond Felton.
And they all come out 6'2", 6'3", all look about the same. And my dad he said, I think this little team gonna beat these boys. And I'm like, you are crazy. There's no way they got nothing for DeMatha. Raymond and the fellas tore DeMatha up, man. And it was, like I said, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but it just goes right along.
Raymond Felton was a high school phenom, man. I saw him destroy teams like DeMatha, whomever. I saw him beat, like, there used to be a place called Mount Zion Prep where Tracy McGrady and them played at. And Latta with Raymond Felton beat them in a tournament in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Raymond Felton had 42, 10, and 12 and just put on a show. And Mount Zion Prep had Kareem, ended up playing at either Missouri or Kansas. Then he had two other guys that were going to Kansas. Raymond Felton by himself and a bunch of dudes 6 foot and under beat these giants, and it was unreal. Ivory Latta is another South Carolina native that she was one of the best high school players I ever seen, man. And you're talking about Asia Wilson from South Carolina. I mean, the list goes on, but it used to be a lot of fun going into those small towns, and most of them are majority all black towns, and seeing the fanfare for high school sports.
Yeah.
It's almost a flip of coming back to Kentucky demographics. It's a total opposite effect. But, again, it was a great experience living down there for close to 20 years.
Yeah, for sure. And TB, I've been talking forever, man. You got to jump in there, man.
Well, I got to ask Coach about one of his assistant coaches that I got a text from today, Mr. Sean Smith. He said I'm supposed to ask you about him and how he's doing.
I'm going to let him go tomorrow. No, I'm kidding. No, Sean Smith he's a rock star, man. Not only what sources say, but also being my associate head coach there at Fredrick Douglass. I met Sean when I took the job. Nobody works harder He is so dynamic in his skill set. He does all of our social media for Fredrick Douglass boys basketball. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to tap in and look at that, but we're doing close to 1 million views for our social media for our high school program. He puts together great content for us. He and I, we kind of work hand in hand. I call him the executive producer, and I'm like, Sean, I want to do this, I want to do that. And he was like, Coach, I'm already on it. He's laying on the floor shooting videos. He is a definite asset to Fredrick Douglass High School, to Kentucky basketball. I just really feel that he's a star, and he's going to have his own program very soon, I'm sure. And every year, I'm afraid I'm going to lose him, man. Now he's doing TV spots with Fox 56. Sean Smith is blowing up, man.
Well, Coach, I was there at the ground floor with him because we drove to Idaho, to Boise for the tournament there. Was that 2018, Vinny? Something like that.
I think so, yeah.
And we drove from Kentucky all the way out there, and it was a 30-something hour trip because we got stuck in the snow. But what did we do for the entire drive? We talked basketball. Like, we literally were just talking about this, teams of the past and different zone defenses and everything like that. So I just enjoying watching him kind of as he ascends, because 50 total hours of traveling. We talked a lot of basketball, Coach.
Yeah, y'all got to know each other quick.
Very well, yeah, very well. Yeah, if you get caught in a blizzard in Utah, you praying and you talking and you doing a lot of stuff.
You're right, but I want to emphasize this, man. He's a much better man than Coach. Really good guy, genuine, cares about the young people in our program. I couldn't ask for a better assistant. And he's not the only guy on my staff, but he's the one you asked about, but I pray about who God sends me as assistant coaches. And I thank the good Lord every day that he sent Sean and Gerard and Jake Barnes to me to come alongside and help us over here at Fredrick Douglass. Because I will say this about Fredrick Douglass. I'm biased, but it's one of the best high school jobs in the state of Kentucky. It's one of as far as administrative support, facilities, location. It's a short tradition, but it's rich in the 8 or 9 years that the school has been open. I don't know if there's any school in the state that has competed and won as many championships in such a short time than Fredrick Douglass. And I tell our families this all the time. Championship programs have championship administrators, championship players, championship fan base, and then you got to have championship coaching. And we have a lot of those things going in our favor. And that's why second place ain't good enough over on the farm, man. You got to compete for championships.
District champs in 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. 11th region champs in 23, went to the Final Four, the state tournament in 23. So, yeah, you said a short period of time, but y'all put a lot of trophies in the case.
Yeah, sure. a lot of trophies, man. And even though they've had a lot of turnover in coaching for boys basketball, the standard has not changed. And I told people when I took the job, they're coming off a 20-win season and winning the district tournament, and the 42nd district is no joke. You win that district championship, you truly win a championship that you should brag about, because you got to beat Bryan Station, Henry Clay, Scott County, Sayre. You got to go head up with those guys 2 nights out of the year, and then you got to play them maybe a third night in the tournament. That might be the toughest district in the state, and it's going to be that way again this year. I think we have 3 Division I players in the 42nd district this year. And you're talking about during the transfer portal era, when you got 3 Division I high school players, and in our region, you might have 2 or 3 coaches that's won over 400 or 500 games. And then now you add Sean Woods to the 11th region. Sean can coach, man, he can coach basketball. So you had Sean Woods to Alan Feldhouse to Brown over at Henry Clay to Salzman over at Lexington Catholic to Steve Page, the state champion over at Great Crossing. All of these coaches in the 11th region, so I've enjoyed it because you just can't roll the ball out against those guys. You got to study your craft. You have to watch film. You got to be prepared to coach in this region. And it's a great simulation from college because if you're not prepared, you can get embarrassed. Yeah. And you can be prepared and still get embarrassed if you're not, if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm. So what's your offensive and defensive core philosophies for like Coach Garvin? A Coach Garvin team is going to look like this, or if you got the players you want, what's your style of play and how do you like to get down up there?
Well, I'm going to be real simple. To have more points than the opponent. And win the game. Man, all that coaching philosophy stuff, that sounds good in the interviews. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to adapt and adjust to what the game brings. And you got to have your teams capable of playing any style, especially in a non-shot clock high school basketball game. See, it's totally different when you have a shot clock. That's a different game that you can manage. A high school game with no shot clock, man, we've played against teams that held the ball for 2 minutes before they shot. And it takes skill to do that, but we have to make sure that we're able to play any style you want to play. So if you come to one of our practices, yes, you're going to see an up-tempo training style, but you'll also see that we try to execute in a half court. You also see that we will play zone. We got to learn how to play against zone defense. We got to learn how to play against switching man-to-man. We got to learn to play against trapping ball screens. So our job as high school coaches, and this is just my humble opinion, is to prepare young people for whatever they may face in the game of basketball and not try to dictate the only way they can play. You get what I'm saying? I tell my guys, I want you to be able to play in the suburbs. I want you to be able to play if we stepped out at Douglas Park. I want you to be able to play in the alley. I want you to have the conduct that you can go play at the YMCA. And I want you to be able to go play in the hood. So it's whatever you want to do. So in our practices and in our training, you're going to see a lot and you're going to hear a lot just about preparing them mentally and physically for whatever the game may bring.
Hey, that's all encompassing. Yeah. So where are you at on the shot clock? Do you prefer it?
Yes, definitely. And the reason I say that, my experience is I've coached literally around the world. I've been fortunate to go to a lot of different countries and either take a team or go to a camp or clinic or something in the other countries. The United States is the only country that is not playing with a shot clock on the high school level. To me, uniformity of the game of basketball is important to the game of basketball. Now, I don't know if sixth graders need to play with a shot clock, but I do think that high school sports would benefit from having a shot clock. And, there's the protagonists that say, well, you don't hold the ball that long anyway. I will say this. There's really good coaches that are accustomed to coaching the game without a shot clock that will have to make an adjustment to coaching a game with a shot clock. And if the coaches are not ready for that transition, you can have a very successful coach that is not as good in the shot clock era versus a non-shot clock. For example, over at Douglass, like I told you, we play teams that may hold the ball for 2 minutes. Well, you're not going to be able to do that. Okay. So that means there's going to be more possessions per game for a team that may not be as athletically gifted as we are. Well, we may not be able to shoot the ball as well as some of these teams that can hold the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to give us more opportunities to score, and it's going to give them less opportunities, to shorten the game, So there's pros and cons either way, but coming from the college ranks to high school, it took me a couple of years to adjust to not having a shot clock. You're talking about continuity offense, okay? In non-shot clock, you can run a continuity offense forever. With the shot clock, if someone puts on a soft press and then comes back and then now they go zone or they go first pass man-to-man, you got a whole different thing because now you're competing against time. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be an adjustment here in Kentucky, but I think there's a lot of really, really good basketball coaches that will make the adjustment, and it'll be okay. But nobody really likes change, man. No.
So as far as active coaches that we've had on here, it's unanimous. It's yourself, Coach Cal, who coaches the Harlan Green Dragons down there in my neck of the woods. Coach Kyle Jones, coaches Harlan County Black Bears. All those guys are for the shot clock. Coach Josh Hurt, who used to coach girls out at Metcalfe County, is the only coach and he's not coaching anymore. I think he's the superintendent now, but he's the one that's anti-shot clock of all the coaches we've interacted with on the show. So it's always a question I gotta ask when, high school coaching, because if I go a while and not go to a high school game, you watch college, and you go back and watch a high school game, like, when Harlan County made it to the state tournament last year, went to Lexington and watching, and whoever they're playing, like 4 minutes, they start trying to stall. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. There's no shot clock. I forgot. I'm like, what are they doing? Oh yeah, it's not a shot clock. So yeah, it's a whole, got to adjust even just as a spectator.
Oh, you have to adjust. And I remember one of the first state tournaments I went to coming back to Kentucky is when the Lyon County won.
Yeah.
And that championship game, man, they held the ball like the whole fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of upset fans watching the game that were neutral. They weren't from either school. I can't even remember who they played in the championship game.
Harlan County.
Was it Harlan County?
Yeah.
Okay. It was the semifinals then that they held the ball. It wasn't the championship game. It was the semifinal game against a school out of Louisville. But they held the ball for the fourth quarter. And now, being a basketball, I still call myself a purist in the game of basketball. It was impressive that they can hold the ball without turning it over. And then when they got fouled, they made their free throws. But if I'm a spectator, I wasn't really entertained by the game. I was entertained because I was like, man, it takes a lot of skill in order to hold that ball. Teams are running and jumping and trying to trap you, and you're out there running the four corners like Dean Smith used to run in the early 80s. And that team could not get the basketball from, what was it, Travis? What was his last name?
Perry.
Yeah.
Travis Perry.
Travis Perry, yeah. They could not get the basketball from them guys. And they went on to win it, but I'll never forget leaving Rupp Arena that morning, and there were fans like, man, that's not entertaining. That was bad.
Mm-hmm.
But, hey, they're the champions, and they played within the rules that they were presented. So kudos to them, and they will be legends in Lyon County for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, they sure will.
Yeah, but I'm a shot clock guy, man. I am. And it's not a shot at anybody that's not. Again, I had to adjust, and it's a different game. It is a different game when you implement a shot clock.
Definitely. Now, I saw you on Twitter, I think when Matt tagged us, you were talking about patience and NIL and the Cats, and they're kind of having their hands full with Tennessee Tech right now, 32-25, 4 minutes left in the first half. So your thoughts on all of that whole conversation and the Cats?
Well, that conversation. Now, I will say this. Living in South Carolina, born and raised in Kentucky, man, there's nothing bigger than Kentucky basketball, okay? coaching against all these different universities over my career, there's nothing like Rupp Arena in all of college basketball. There's nothing like it. Nothing like it. The only thing that's close is probably Kansas, okay? North Carolina, all right? Syracuse when they were really good. Those are the only fan bases that I would compare, all right? So coming back and seeing the end of Coach Cal's era here, Coach Calipari's era here in Kentucky, the fan base wants championship level basketball, but since the NIL era, the playing fields it's kind of balanced now, you know, and you saw a shift in basketball also with the implementation of the internet. See, it used to be a time when you had to go to the best schools. You had to go to the best schools to get the best coaching and the best training because they had all the secrets. But with the internet, there's a kid over in Africa that is just as good as the kid in Chicago.
Yeah.
Because now he can see the training that the elite level players receive. Okay? And so now every school has the resources or the money in order to attract these well-trained student athletes to come in and compete. I think the playing fields is even as it's ever been. And now you got Coach Pope that is replacing a legend. Whether you like Coach Calipari or not, the man is a college basketball legend. You have a new voice with a fan base that is wanting championship level. It was not rock bottom with Cal. They just weren't winning championships anymore. But it wasn't the bottom of the barrel. So now you got a new voice with a Fortune top 5 program, as in a fan base, come in. It's going to take patience. And now all these other schools got the same resources. And all these other student athletes are just as skillful. I mean, there's a kid down in Houston, man, that is really good. There's a kid at Central Florida that can really play. And the tables are even. So I hope that the fan base is not our biggest enemy. Sometimes the Kentucky fan base is Kentucky's biggest opponent because they got upset because the way Pope was dejected after a loss. Well, when he learns how to manipulate the media, they're going to be mad because now they're going to feel like he's bull jiving them. You know, so what do you want? It's just going to take some time and everybody's going to have to stick with it. You know, they're going to have to stick with it. But this is the hard part. At the end of the year, the whole roster could change.
Yeah.
And so now you're having to follow another team that you don't know nobody on the team. And he's trying to build camaraderie with a bunch of new guys. It's a new era, man, in basketball. And a lot of programs are struggling with building culture. Okay? Now, last time I checked, Kansas was having a hard time the past couple of years. North Carolina was on the, hot seat with their coaching.
Yeah, Hubert.
Yeah, all the blue bloods were kind of like, what's going on? And you got Florida winning the national championship, which is, are they a blue blood? I don't know. But they've won 3 championships in the last 20 years. You know, you got UConn that goes back to back. Now, UConn has been always competitive, but it's a formula that is not easy, man. Only one team wins their last game.
Yeah.
And whether you're happy or not, I don't know, man. Kentucky's fan base act like these kids don't read social media. And when a young person reads social media and they get all this criticism, What are we expecting them not to be human? I mean, I hope they have 20 sports psychiatrists over there for those guys, because they get crushed on social media and then they expect them to go out and perform. And just because they're getting paid on top of the table now, I still don't say that they should be treated like professionals. You know, and you heard me say on top of the table.
Yeah.
Now, we all know, if we're not naive, that players have been getting paid for a long time. We even have a documented history of it. But now they're getting paid on top of the table, and now people feel like they can be venomous toward these 18, 19, 20-year-old guys, and they're still young.
Yeah.
You know, so I just think you coach them up, you try to build them up, you support them, you encourage them, and you got to have faith in your coach, man. And this getting rid of coaches, you know, coaches getting fired mid-season now.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me. And I know it's a lot of money at stake right now. I get that. But at the same time, we just got to just calm down. Let's see it through. Let's see how it plays out. And then you got to decide at the end of the year, but there ain't no changing midstream, you know. And I knew it was going to be a hard, long year when people were celebrating an exhibition game win over Purdue. I said, that's not realistic. No team is ready to play in early November. You know, you're just trying to learn, especially when everybody's new to the program. You're trying to make sure you know the set plays when you go out there and compete.
Yeah.
You're not ready to be a championship team. And now you look, Purdue is doing better than Kentucky.
Yeah. And that just ramped it up. That ramped up the excitement.
That
100-fold.
Right. It ramped up the false expectations. He is still trying to gel a very new team. And again, it's going to take some time. They have a plethora of talent, but in order to get talent to come together, man, that's not easy. No. That's not easy. So I think I made a joke with someone saying it's a team built for March. I know they hate that in Kentucky lore, because that's what Cal used to sell them on.
That's
but
right.
At the same time, every coach will tell you they want their team to be playing their best basketball in March. Because that's tournament time. Now, I know you got to build a resume to get in the tournament, or you got to win the tournament. And I know Kentucky, they're a feast or famine fan base, where if you don't get it done every day, you're not good enough around here. And hey, they pay them millions of dollars. I understand. But at the same time, it's still coaching basketball. And the landscape has changed. Even how to build a team has changed, and there's teams that are going to struggle, especially when you have a new voice that's over the Kentucky Kingdom, per se.
That makes sense.
I know that's a lot. I know that's a lot, and I don't have all the answers. I don't. But I do know it takes time to build a culture, and just because you have a program doesn't mean you have strong culture.
Wow, two different things. Wow.
Two different things, man.
Appreciate all the insights on that. Tell us real quick, players that we need to watch on the Fredrick Douglass roster. Who should we be keeping our eye on, or who may be poised to break out that people aren't aware of yet?
I will tell people, and I've been saying this all fall, come out and watch high school basketball in Lexington. It's a really good time in high school sports here. I mean, like I told you, 3 Division I players in the 42nd district. There's probably over 3 or 4 coaches that's won over 400 games. You have 2 former Division I head coaches in the 42nd district. And you have all of these players that can really play. It's a great time to come out And if you're a alumni of any of these schools, man, go support these kids and get involved in high school basketball. I promise you won't be disappointed.
Mm.
At Fredrick Douglass, we're led by DeMarcus Surratt. He's a 6'3" senior. He's already signed with Bellarmine. He'll be going to Bellarmine next year. He's a above the rim, high flying, unselfish superstar. Okay. One of the most athletic kids I've ever coached, one of the most unselfish star players that I've ever coached. He will entertain you. If you leave the game and you don't say wow at least 2 or 3 times, he had a bad night. And every game on the sideline, I got to act like I'm not impressed. But I've coached this many kids that's done a 360 in a game on somebody. And DeMarcus Surratt is one that I coached that actually did a 360 in a game on somebody. He's electrifying, man. Tate Robinson is the school record holder in 3-point makes for a season. He's a sharp shooting guard, about 6'3". His dad is an assistant coach with University of Kentucky. Nick Robinson is his dad. Tate and his brother Toby both play for me. Toby is a starting cornerback on the football team as a sophomore and will probably push to be our 6th man on our basketball program. You got Terry Kaysen, who is another 6'2" athletic wing that's already got Division I offers in football and basketball. He'll be on the court for us. Thurman Wade, a 6'3" wing. A bunch of our guys are about 6'2", 6'3". And they are dogs. They play extremely hard. In the middle, we have a young freshman named AJ Rhodes that's about 6'6", that's going to get minutes as a freshman. And then we have 6'8" senior Nate Cohen that is probably going to lead the region in block shots. Nate's about 6'8", very athletic, lefty. That we got a squad, man. And at point guard, we got a kid named KJ Williams. We got Dakari Talbert, who is a 1,000-yard rusher on the football team. He had his first practice today. And it's like he's got 8 eyes in his head. I told him in practice today, I said, man, I just miss seeing you pass the ball. Dakari is one of the best passers on our team. He throws a lot of no looks, and he's just got the gift, man. He's got great court vision and great awareness on the court. But we got a bunch of guys, man. We got a bunch of guys. And again, it's going to be an exciting year. Bryan Station is very talented. Henry Clay, Lexington Catholic. Again, I look forward to competing with Sean in Scott County. Coach Page out there at Great Crossing. You still got to beat Sayre. You still got to beat, Dunbar's and Tate's Creek. Tate's Creek's got a resurgence in their program with Coach Belcher and what he's doing. Lexington Christian. It's just come watch high school basketball. I promise you, if you come over to the farm, you'll come back again. We're like a Lay's potato chip. You just can't have it one time.
That's right.
Yeah. You don't want another one.
That's it, man. Absolute perfect way to sell Kentucky high school hoops, specifically Lexington. That's where you guys are, and the competition every night. All the players, all the coaches, fun time for sure. So I can't thank you enough for taking the time to hop on here and join us and talk about your journey and where you are now and what to expect for the future. And if your schedule allows, love to get you back on again sometime, Coach. This has been a whole lot of fun, man.
I'd love to, man. I like to talk now. I like to talk. So anytime I can come on, I'm going to give myself a plug. I'm also in the process of writing my book, just about my coaching journey. I'd love to come back on anytime, but I'm in a process. I'm hoping to have this book completed by the summer. Okay. It's been probably 5 years that I've been writing, and now I got a publisher, and we're really in the lab, cutting it down and refining it. And it's just about my journey, man, from Eastern Kentucky to Division I ranks, to being a kid from a single parent home, to being married for 27 years and having a beautiful family, and just a journey of a man, really, that's been blessed to be in coaching for 30 years now, and how that's impacted me and the people around me. I just want to share so it can hopefully inspire the next generation to dream big, and all your wildest dreams are possible. And I'm living proof of it. So if it can happen for me, it can happen for anybody. And I just want to give back and leave something for my children's children to say, hey, man, this dude made a difference in our family, and this is his story. So it's a lot going on right now, but I'm excited about the season. I'm excited about everything. I want to say this in closing. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and to make sure that you are thankful for what you do have and don't complain about what you don't have, because if you have faith, you are right where God wants you to be, man. So yeah, stay grateful, and things will get better if you get better.
Hey, that's it. Thanks for that perspective. Appreciate it. Thanks for everything you're doing and all you got going on. Definitely got to have you on to talk about the book. Tell Sean that we said, hey, because he's from Middlesboro, right down the road from us there in Eastern Kentucky, and he's doing big things. So talked about a lot of stuff, and love to talk to you again sometime, Coach. We can't thank you enough. It's been an honor.
All right, man. Thank you guys, man. Thank you guys, and again, happy Thanksgiving.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Coach Murray Garvin, Fredrick Douglass basketball coach, got a squad out there, high school basketball in Lexington, state of Kentucky, period. Get out there and check it out. It's going to be some fun watches all across the city, all across the state. We also had the Cats who looked like they woke up a little bit, closed the first half strong. They got a 15-point lead on Tennessee Tech. So it was a little dicey there at the beginning. And final tune-up before North Carolina next week. Football side, you got the Cats going up against Louisville. Didn't go well at Vanderbilt last Saturday. Diego Pavia showed out. So the Cats are now 5-6. Got the Governor's Cup. Still got a shot at bowl eligibility. Louisville is banged up, depleted. Kentucky got a lot of guys out on defense. Two banged up teams. Two teams kind of limping into the Governor's Cup Saturday out there at Louisville. Let's see if these Cats can be resilient one more time and get a win over those Haiti Cards. Super duper congrats to Coach Skinner and UK Volleyball, because what a match that was last night over Texas in the SEC Tournament Championship. They brought the championship back, brought the tournament back for the first time after 20 years. The Cats were rolling. Beat Tennessee 3-1 in the semis. Got the rematch with Texas, who had revenge on their minds because, look, Kentucky went down to Austin and just swept them. Texas is up 2-0. They can taste it. Had Kentucky on the ropes. 23-19. 2 points away from sweeping Kentucky. SEC Tournament Championship would belong to the Longhorns. Marcus Spears is in the building. Love Marcus Spears. His daughter plays for Texas. Love his analysis when he was at the SEC Network. Does his thing for the NFL on ESPN now. Of course, he's there rooting his daughter on. Kentucky gets up off the mat. They fight back. Fight off multiple match points, championship points. Get the first set. Get the second set. Get down 3-0 in the fifth set. I said first set, second set. I meant third set and fourth set to force the fifth set. Get down 3-0 in set 5. Overcome all of that and go undefeated in conference play. Go and sweep the SEC tournament. So now it's on to the NCAA tournament. And can they finish it off and win another national championship for Coach Skinner? So congratulations to Eva Hudson, Brooklyn DeLay, Agent Thigpen, everybody on the team who had huge contributions. Tuzzo, she did her thing as well. The entire squad, congratulations. And they run the league. And it was evident in Savannah last night. Fun show. Let's enjoy the second half of this Kentucky basketball game against Tennessee Tech. Thanks again to TB. Thanks again to Coach Murray Garvin at Fredrick Douglass High School. Go and watch him and his team play. Enjoyed this episode. Be back next Wednesday here on the BS3 Network. Follow us on Twitter, Cats Talk Wednesday, YouTube, Facebook. Like, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll be back next week. Enjoy all those extra days off, and we'll holler at y'all next time on Cats Talk Wednesday. See y'all.